Welcome to Faith and Freedom. For the next few minutes, we hope to inform, inspire, and encourage you as we discuss legal victories and challenges to your fundamental freedom and religious liberties. Faith and Freedom comes to you from Liberty Counsel, a civil liberties education and legal defense organization. Join us now as Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, explains the latest legal issues all across this country. In the courtrooms of America, Liberty Counsel is winning the battle for your constitutional freedom.
Mississippi's last abortion clinic is closing. Hi, I'm Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel. Joining me is Matt Barber, vice president of Liberty Counsel Action. Matt, a report is coming out of Mississippi that the last abortion clinic that exists in Mississippi will close unless a federal judge halts a new state law requiring that physicians must obtain privileges to local hospitals. That's according to a motion filed in court. And there's a new law there that says if you're going to be a doctor performing abortions, that you also have to be one who is having admission privileges to a hospital. And that's an obvious reason why. Why? Well, because you want to be able to admit your patient if they ultimately have a complication. And most of these doctors don't have admission privileges. And hospitals are making sure that the doctors that have admission privileges are doctors that are doing reputable practices and that are not people that are just committing shoddy malpractice kinds of work. Yeah. That's ultimately may be the demise of the last abortion clinic in Mississippi.
And let's hope that this sets a trend that spreads across the country, Matt. This is fantastic news. And, the radical pro-aborts are up in arms that imagine this, in order to effectuate quality control, a state would require that these physicians simply have admitting privileges to local hospitals. And this has the effect of getting rid of the many subpar quacks that really fill the Planned Parenthoods and abortion clinics across the country that end up killing these women, obviously killing babies. But so this is a quality control issue. In order to get rid of abortionists are so frequently just bad doctors, if doctors at all.
Yeah, and these hospitals, it's not just that you can call the hospital and say, I've got somebody coming over, can you open up a bed for them when they come to the emergency room? It also opens up the hospital for that doctor to come, and that doctor can see their patient. And so they're going to look at the quality of the care that these doctors give. So not every doctor has admitting privileges because the hospital is essentially taking on some liability because these doctors not only are admitting people, but they're coming in and they're treating people there in the facility. So obviously the hospital is looking at people who are going to be treating their patients properly. These abortion doctors, they don't treat patients. And in fact, in most cases, they don't have any pre-consultation with the patients. They just come in. They don't even know who the patient is. In fact, there was one particular case that I'm familiar with where an individual who now is pro-life actually went to have an abortion. She did not know the doctor that was there. The doctor came in. He did not recognize her, but the two knew each other. He didn't even look at who she was. He did the abortion, went away, didn't even know who she was. That's how disconnected these doctors are. They don't have a pre-consultation. They don't have follow-up. They just come in, do their abortion, and they're gone. These are not patients. These are machines that make money for them. And they don't have a typical doctor-patient relationship as you would have with most doctors. So that's why they don't even want privileges because they don't have any desire to follow up with patients.
Yeah, no, this is death profiteering is what it is. These are shameless individuals, these clinics, these Planned Parenthood clinics that are filling the coffers, becoming rich, privately and individually wealthy from the death, from the murder of innocent preborn children and from taking advantage of women and misleading them. The medical practice holds sacrosanct full disclosure and informed consent on issues like this, but for some reason, the sacred cow of abortion, informed consent and full disclosure of what is actually about to occur and of this the information surrounding this little life growing within the mother, that is wiped out. They don't want that because they know, as so often in the high 80s and low 90s, when women see, for instance, with a 4D ultrasound, see this baby growing inside of them, they change their mind. This is death profiteering.
It is. And the law here in Mississippi says that if you're going to do abortions, you have to be board certified in obstetrics and gynecology, and you have to have admitting privileges at a local hospital. These abortionists at the Jackson's Women's Health Organization are not, and therefore it may have to close. The judge allowed this particular law to go into effect on July 1, 2012, but there's still litigation going on right now. But that law is currently going into effect. According to the judge, he's allowed that. And the interesting thing is, Matt, there has been as many as 14 abortion providers in Mississippi since the early 1990s. And now this is the last one, but it may be gone. When I was in college at the University of Kentucky, my wife and I founded a student organization called Campus Right to Life. We brought to college a physician, a female physician from Jackson, Mississippi, and I'm wondering if it's the same Women's Health Center, but it is in fact the same city in Mississippi where this doctor came from. We had the largest student organization meeting in that particular year at the University of Kentucky, a packed room, and she came and she shared her testimony about how she was a doctor who did abortions. And she had a dramatic encounter with God in her car where she actually heard an audible voice, and she broke down in tears, stopped the car, pulled over to the side of the road, gave her life to Jesus Christ, was completely transformed, and left the abortion business and became a very strong voice for the unborn, realizing that what she had been doing all these abortions was actually the murder of innocent human children. She was blinded to that for a while, but had a dramatic conversion. So to see in Jackson, Mississippi, the same place, the same city, where this doctor ultimately left the abortion death industry, and now the very last abortion clinic may close in that same city, is gratifying indeed to see that the sanctity of human life in that state is being protected.
Well, you've just described a real a modern road to Damascus experience. And here is a woman who has acknowledged now in her own life that she has committed horrible sins in the taking of innocent human life. She has committed murder over and over and over again. She came to that realization. And I've often said this, I'm known for being very direct, and I will very directly say to women, if you've had an abortion, or to doctors, if you've performed abortions, first of all, for women, yes, you're a mother. And yes, you have killed your child. You have allowed your child to be killed. But yes, there is redemption, there is forgiveness, and there is freedom in a relationship with Jesus Christ. And even those kinds of wounds can be healed through the love of Christ. You just gave a great example.
And even for these doctors, like this particular situation with this one lady who'd performed thousands of abortions.
Yeah.
She's complicit in thousands of deaths. But she gave her life to the Lord. Her sins have been forgiven. She's a new woman, and she is someone who now is a strong advocate for the unborn.
As often happens with Road to Damascus experiences.
Which is what happened to the Apostle Paul.
The Apostle Paul became the loudest, most vociferous advocate for Christ.
He was standing there holding the coats as a witness when Stephen was being stoned to death for his witness of Jesus Christ, and he was consenting to the death of Stephen. He was on his way to Damascus to persecute more Christians, and he encountered God, and his life was radically changed. There is some good news that's happening in the pro-life arena, and in Utah, there is a legislator, a senator, Margaret Dayton, who is now proposing a law that would ban sex selection so that you would not be able to say, I wanted a girl, but I've got a boy, and so I want to abort. I'm wanting a boy, but I've got a girl that I'm carrying, so I want to abort. Now, it'd be harder to prove that you were making your decision based upon sex, but it would ban sex selection.
Well, and we know how that ends up happening. Look to China, where little girls are few and far between. Newborn little girls are few and far between. It's most often the little girls that are killed. And I often say, Matt, that I believe in equal rights for unborn feminists, and that people would support, as does Planned Parenthood and do others, sex-selective abortion. It's anti-feminist, among other things, but it's reprehensible.
It is. We'll go to Liberty Counsel's website. Stand with Liberty Counsel as we advance life, liberty, and family through litigation, education, and through public policy. I encourage you also to ask for, if you're not receiving, our Liberator, particularly the year-end Liberator, because it is 6 pages chock full of information about what has happened, all the different ministries and outreaches of Liberty Counsel just in 2012. It's absolutely amazing to see what God is doing, and you can be a part of this ministry. You may not be able to be involved in all these different areas, but you can certainly be involved directly through prayer and partnering with Liberty Counsel financially. Without your prayers and your financial support, Liberty Counsel would not be able to do what God has called us to do. Go to Liberty Counsel's website, lc.org, and remember Liberty Counsel at this time of the year for your year-end contributions.
You have been listening to Faith and Freedom with Liberty Counsel. We hope that we have motivated you to stand up for your faith, family, and freedom. We can accomplish a lot when we work together. Get informed and get involved today. Sign up for our free monthly newsletter, The Liberator. We will send it out to you free of charge. Stay informed with our Liberty Alert email updates. Just click on the website at www.lc.org or call us at 1-800-671-1776. Tune in next time to learn more about your rights right here on Faith and Freedom.